Why do you watch that stuff, man? It's not even real. Really? Is that like honestly? Who do you think you're telling or what? Right? Hey, man, why don't you watch a real sport like, like boxing and MMA? Why do you watch WWE, man? Hey, D Style. What's with the wrestling talk, man? It's fake. Look at it. It's fucking fake, man. All right, so well, duh, it's fake, right? Yes, it's predetermined. It's orchestrated. It's planned out, right? It's all a show. What the? All right. I mean, that's kind of isn't that the whole deal, right? But you know what I don't get? Let me tell you what I don't get, man. Right? This is what I don't understand. Look, if you don't watch sitcoms, movies, half of the reality shows that are not really reality on TV, if you don't watch cinema, if you don't watch movies, if you don't watch none of this stuff, right? If you don't watch anything fictional whatsoever, then you know what? By all means, come out and say, "Oh, wrestling, it's fake," right? But I know, I know the majority of people that always mention about how wrestling's fake and it's not real and all this shit, right? I don't know, do you think you're like smart because you know wrestling's not real? I mean, everybody knows that. It's not. It doesn't make you unique because you know that it's not real. Like, ooh, like you know something people don't know, right? It's everybody understands that. Just like a couple weeks ago, I went to the movies and I watched a new Star Wars movie. Right? I know that the Force isn't real. I know that, but it doesn't stop me from watching the movie. It doesn't mean like, oh, because I know the Force is not real, that the Force is not really with me. Does that mean I'm not going to watch the movie? I enjoyed a lot of boxing movies. I know that it's not really two guys fighting for real. I know that the son of the was it son or grandson of Creed, right? I know that the grandson of Creed didn't really fight, all right, for the light heavyweight championship of the world. I know that. I know that. But it doesn't. Do I go around telling people, "Oh man, that shit is so fake, man"? Fucking, it's not even a real fight, man. It's a fucking director put the movie together. Come on, man. Really? I mean, really? Well, what's the matter with people? What's the matter with all y'all? What's going on? Oh, but it's fake though. It's fake. Look, it's if you say I don't know. I watch wrestling. It's boring. That's fine, right? I try to watch wrestling, but I don't know, man. It's all stupid. I just don't like it. That's fine. You're entitled to your opinion, right? But it's when you go out of your way, right, to go on a video that's talking about wrestling, and you want to point out, oh man, this shit's so fake, huh? Huh? It's not even real. You think it's real, huh? You think it's real, huh? You think the Undertaker's real? You really think you really think he's dead and shit, huh? Like it's just dumb. Like you look dumb, right? When you go out of your way to, you know, for whatever reason. I am intrigued by professional wrestling for two reasons. One, I grew up watching wrestling, right? And number two, I'm very intrigued by the business of wrestling, right? And I know the influence that the business of wrestling had on all of sports and entertainment in general, right? Now, you may not know it, but a lot of the concepts that are rooted from wrestling, You see them a lot on television, on a lot of dramas on television. You see it a lot in sports as well, right? When you see Conor McGregor and the type of draw that he is, you're looking at someone who literally took the blueprint out of a wrestling character and started playing that, but in the MMA world. That's what you saw. When you saw Muhammad Ali, you saw someone who admitted, all right, that they took the script out of Gorgeous George. All right. There are many professional athletes that have been influenced by professional wrestling, right, and use those same selling points or tactics in their own genres, or their own, avenues of life, their own sports. And that's the reality of it. All right. Whenever a director is directing a movie, all right, he's trying to find ways to work the audience, aka the crowd. Right. That's something wrestling's been doing for decades, for over a century. Now, it doesn't mean that you have to watch wrestling. It just means that you're watching almost everything you watch on television today, in one way or another, is somehow influenced by professional wrestling. All right, those shows you guys like First Take and what's that other one called, Undisputed? Do you really believe that they're no longer together? But do you really believe that? Or let's put it this way: do you really believe that Shannon Sharp and Skip Bayless disagree about everything, every single topic they disagree on? They never agree on anything. No, they're playing. Okay, Skip Bayless is playing. He's working so many people. He's working the crowd, right? He's playing everyone. He's playing a character. That's what he's doing. He's playing the character. That's what he does. That's what Skip Bayless does. Okay? He has to play a character. Isn't this what, you guys are bashing pro wrestling, but you ask, especially like in boxing, right? Hey, man, why are you talking about wrestling, man? Talk about boxing, man. Talk about real sport, man. And then that same person will come out, right, on another video I do and say, man, these fighters, man, they need to sell themselves more, man. They got to sell tickets, man. Where do you think the concept of putting butts in seats and selling tickets, okay, by trash talking and, or being a larger than life figure, where do you think that comes from? Where do you think it comes from? It comes from pro wrestling, right? That's where it comes from. When boxing was a gentleman's sport, we're a gentleman's sport, lad. We're just here to be two gentlemen. When boxing was doing all that, pro wrestlers were out there being brutes and being heels and being faces and attracting people that way. All right. So that this whole idea of the same people, pro wrestling stupid, man. And then they come out and they demand that boxers and MMA fighters, market, quote unquote, market themselves, right, to appeal to more people. That is a pro wrestling thing. That's what that is. That's exactly what that is. It's a pro wrestling thing, right? Professional wrestling. Let's look at this, all right? Floyd Mayweather. All right, he marketed himself as a heel. That's what he did. He became the heel and made people hate him, and everybody was showing up in droves because they wanted to see him lose. Right? Typical heel. Now, in wrestling, you eventually have the heel lose because people like get irritated when the heel keeps winning. Like, eventually the heel needs to lose, right? Eventually the heel needs to lose. But obviously this is not pro wrestling. It's not like the audiences can decide who wins. Okay, but nonetheless, he used that blueprint to sell. That's what he did. Okay, he says it himself. What do you always say? What would Floyd always say? Oh yeah. Mayweather promotion. We're the future of sports and entertainment. You might as well just say sports and entertainment. All right. Now, granted, you see, here's where me being a wrestling fan and someone who understands the business of wrestling, see, this is where my input on this goes, because let me tell you something. It's okay to borrow some stuff from wrestling for fun or to market, okay? But as we all know, wrestling isn't real. We all know that. So you can't borrow everything from wrestling, okay? You can't implement, wrestling strategy in an actual match, like an actual boxing match or an MMA match. You need to let these athletes have their real fight, right? So that's why when I say things like, hey, you can't ask these fighters to fight a certain way, or when he say things like, yeah, he dominated, but I wasn't entertained. Like, what did you want him to do? Like, get hit for your entertainment or what? Right? So obviously there's fine lines here, right? There's a lot of fine lines. There is. It's just the way it is. If there was no wrestling influence on most of the shit you watch on TV, a lot of this shit would be boring. It just would. All right? Now, you don't have to acknowledge that. But all I'm saying is, if somebody's talking about wrestling, and you're going out of your way to come on a video or to comment or to point out about how it's not real, I mean, what is that really saying about you? Like, you went out of your way to listen to somebody talk about wrestling just to point out that like it's not real. Like if we don't know, everybody knows it's not real. Everybody knows that, right? But it is about storytelling, no different than a movie or a show. It's no different than that. All right? That's all. That's it. And when it's done right, when it's done the right way, it's entertaining as hell, in my opinion. It's entertaining as hell when it's done the right way. Right? Unfortunately, the WWE right now, especially on Raw, is not doing it the right way. But that's another story for another time. This was more about the whole, like, oh, it's fake, man. This shit's so fake, bro. Why do you watch stuff like wrestling? This shit's so corny, bro. And then they turn around, hey, man, this fucking boxer, man. Like, yeah, he's winning fights, but he's gotta market himself, man. He's gotta go out there and just talk some trash, man. Just start doing shit. Just start doing like outrageous shit to get attention. To really market yourself, put yourself out there. You guys know there's terms for this stuff in wrestling, right? You know that. All right. There's actual terms for this. Man, he's got to go out there after the fight, man. He's got to just talk some shit. That's called creating heat. Yeah, that's what that's called. Right? If there's a wrestling term for it, all right, and just because you don't know about the term, right, you are, in a weird way, maybe not a fan of the WWE as we know it today, but you are a fan of professional wrestling. You just don't know it. The things that you're demanding and asking for, we're all founded upon by what? By pro wrestling. That's just the way it is. Like, do you know how many, especially like in combat sports, but not just combat sports. I mean, even a lot of NFL players, that talk about how they were influenced by a lot of, professional wrestlers when they were growing up. And they use a lot of this, maybe not any specific wrestler, but they use a lot of the same tactics to, market themselves and, put themselves out there. Whether it's creating heat, whether it's, drawing attention, being a draw, um, making a heel turn, whatever it is, okay, it's, you name it, wrestling has something behind it. Right? So, well, that's it. I'm out.